Good Monday morning, everybody. It's January 24th, 2022. I'm Stevenson at Homes by Sun with Remax. I hope everyone had a fantastic week last week. I know many of you had to deal with the amount of snow that we got. I too had to. But in any case, the market was on fire. And this week I've got a lot that I want to talk about. So without further ado, let's get into it and take a look at what happened last week and where do we go from here. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so first thing first, we're going to talk about the detached market. I want to show you this property, 84 Holly Drive in Richmond Hill. Now, this is a 33, let me just see it down here. So this is a 33-foot wide property by 105. And it sold for, and let me just go back up there. All right, just close this. And it sold for 2.76 million. A 33-foot property, just for your perspective, let's search on the same street. If we do a search on the same street here, we can see that the same property we're going for 1.8 and as low as 1.44 back in 2020. So if somebody purchased a property, now this one I'm looking at here, it's even wider, it's 41 feet wide. So if somebody purchased a property in 2020 and they paid, let's say around 1.4, now the property is worth 2.2. So that's 800K profit in a little over a year, maybe a year and a half. This is how fast the market has moved in the last year. And if we look at some pricing chart, now back in fall of 2021, I did predict that every spring or every first quarter of the year for the last few years, we've seen a dramatic increase in not only the number of listings, but also the prices as opposed to the rest of the year. And let me just show you this chart to give you a good perspective. Now, what this chart shows is the number of new listings, and every spring we have an increase in the number of new listings. New listing increases by about March, it peaks and it comes down a little bit. Every year it's been like this. And if we look at the average home price, it also goes up. And then for 2021, it sort of levels out. But in previous years, if you look at the blue lines, it goes up and then it sort of comes down a little bit. So let's go back to what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks is that we've been tracking if this year is also repeating the same pattern in terms of detached freehold. So this is the chart that I've been using since beginning of January. And, you know, I've made some changes, updated, put some numbers in, and let me run through quickly what we have here. So we have, first of all, we have the date range. We also have the number of new listings per week. So why I'm doing this is because I want to track how fast the listings are moving, what the demand is, so that we can predict what the price is going to look like in the week or a couple of weeks later. because if the demand is a leading indicator of price, when the demand goes up, usually the price follows. If the demand drops, usually the price will start to drop later. So that's why I want to look at demand. So we track number of new listings per week. And then we have the new number of new listing percentage increase. And then we have the number of sales. So this column shows the number of sales that happened last week. And you can see it's steadily increasing. And then we also track the number of listings that sold here for over asking. And that's an important indicator. If more and more properties are selling over asking, that means the demand is very, very strong. And we can see that. We can see that the percentage of over asking is steadily increased from about 60% to now about 85%. That means 85% of the properties that are on the market sold for more than the asking price. And then I have the average home price per week. So this is every week is different. And this is, we're talking about GTA. So GTA is Durham, Halton, Peel, York, and Toronto. And then the number of new listings sold. So this column is what percentage or how many listings that were listed last week and sold last week, right? I'll give you an idea of the number of bully offers, because typically when, how multiple offers are done these days, listings are held on the market for maybe like 7 to 10 days. However, a lot of listings are sold way before that because of bully offers. So this number shows us, how strong the bully offer market or situation is. So let's take a look at the chart down here. We see that the number of new listings, which is the orange line here, keeps increasing. And so it follows that the number of sales is also increasing. Number of sales is the yellow line here. The yellow line right now, it follows the number of new listings, which is telling us that, even though we have more listings coming onto the market, we have the same ratio of sales happening. That means there are still a lot more buyers in the market. So the demand is keeping up with the supply. And the green line is the percentage of, or the number of over asking sales. So that also keeping up with supply. Right now, we have a supply shortage. So everything pretty much sells. Not everything sells, but everything pretty much sells. And so, if we go back to this number, the 85.51%, which means 85% of the transaction are selling over asking, but there's still 15% that sell for below asking or don't sell. So as a buyer, if you are not too picky, you're open to different category, different selection, or if you're an investor, there are still deals that you can find, but it's a little bit more difficult right now because of the strong demand. Now, if we look at the average home price per week, we can see that there was a sharp increase last week. It chart way up here. So what we're predicting for next week is this number is still going to go up. Just looking at what has been sold in that, in the last couple of days, leads me to believe that we're still going to see a lot more over asking, record sales. All right, so let's take a look at the condo side. Now, before we look at the condo number, I want to jump into here to show you. This is from a good friend of mine, Vivian. She's posted this. She's also a realtor. And these are condo listings. And you can see that the number of offers that they're getting, this one got 26 offers, okay? This one had 110 showings, and they got 11 offers. Again, this one sold for $700, like more over $100,000 more than their asking price. So in the condo side, market is very, very strong. Buyers are back. We had a little bit of a slowdown during COVID. In 2021, the market started to pick up a bit. It was more balanced. You can still find something, negotiate and, down on the price. But lately, what we're seeing is the condo market has come back to life. It's somebody lit a fire and it is going very, very strong. So let's take a look at, so same thing on it with our chart, same thing on the condo side, which is the yellow side, but we're only doing Toronto 416 area. Okay, and in the 416 area, again broken down into the number of new listings, what's been sold, and what's the over asking sold, and then the average sale price. So let's take a look at the chart. We look at the chart here, we can see that so the demand again is sharp. It's not as rising as quickly as a detached, but it is rising. We're getting more and more listings. And the sales is keeping up with what's coming onto the market, and also the number of listing that's sold over asking, it's also keeping up. And the percentage here, so the, clear all the join. So the percentage of new listings that sold over asking, or percentage of condo listings that sold over asking, 62%. Now, this is historically very, very high. Condo usually don't sell for over asking so often because in order to have a firm deal, you need to, there is a condition that it needs to be fulfilled, and that condition is the review of status certificate. So traditionally, it's very hard to get firm offers on condos unless the seller has provided or previously ordered the status certificate, which is taking a look at the health of the condo. But that document, it's only valid for a month. So if they price it a little bit high, that document will be useless. And so if the buyer comes the month after, they will have to order again, and that takes 10 days. So then you don't have the luxury of firming up the deal in the same week or getting a firm deal right away. But if something is selling for 100%, 101% or more, that means that the offer was firm. There was no condition to review the status. And so this number tells us that sellers are preparing these status certificates, giving out, and the buyers are coming quickly to review them and come in with a firm offer. So it shows a very healthy return to the condo market. If you have a condo or an investment condo and that you want to sell, right now will be the perfect time. It will be the best time to sell right now. Okay. Let's look at the average condo sold price. Now, this chart is charting upward and upward, and it's been like that since 2021. Fortunately, I just started doing this year, so we're going to have to give it some more time, and then you can see a better trend. So this is the weekly average sale price for 416 condos. And so it follows that because of the strong demand and the strong number of properties selling over asking, that the average price is just going to keep increasing. So right now, if you're in the market for, say, a one bedroom, you'll be looking at around 600, 650. If you are in the market for 1+1, you're looking at around 700. Two bedroom, you're looking at around 850, 900. And anything larger, it will be over $1 million. So $1 million condos is very commonplace right now. Okay, so let's take a look at the rental market, how the rental market did. So I also track rental market. And in the rental market, we had, for the past week, we had a slight drop in the number of new listing that came on, only 775. The number of transaction, it kind of follows with the number of new listing, because if whatever's on the market, if it's not leased right now, it's either bad condition or it's overpriced. Okay, rental market is more sensitive because tenant, 100, $200 makes a big difference. So we have a little bit less inventory came onto the market, and also a little bit less deals. However, if we look at the price per category, which is on this side, so let me just reduce it. So one bedroom, which is the blue line here, you can see that prices are relatively stable. Okay, and same thing with most and almost all categories. Prices are pretty stable, even though we had less number of deals. So that is telling us that the rental market, it is very healthy. Prices are very stable. If you're a landlord, you should be getting a pretty decent price for your rental. However, is it the best? No. Pre-COVID, the rental prices were a lot higher. One bedroom, the average price back then was about $2,100, $2,200. But we are right now, the one bedroom average price is still around $2,000. So the rental market has not cut, because I guess because of COVID, a lot of students are still doing remote learning. They're not in Toronto. So a lot of the that population that usually makes up for majority of the tenant pool are not as active yet. But as the weather warms, as the spring comes, I think the rental market is going to also pick up again. We are already seeing multiple offers on rentals. I just listed one and we got 6 offers. So rental market is definitely strong, but and the other side, the other flip side is, even if you have 5 or 6 people applying to rent, not all of them are going to meet your criteria. Maybe for one reason or another, you don't want to rent to any of them. So even though the market is good, it doesn't mean all the rental are going to be leased out right away. So to summarize, I have a few pointers for buyers and sellers. So if you are a seller right now in this super hot market, first of all, you need to plan where you're going to move so you can buy and sell in the same market. The worst thing you can do is sell now and be left homeless. If you're going to rent, you might never catch up to the rise in market. So if you have something decent, something nice, don't sell it now, buy something first. right? And sell any underperforming investment properties. If you have an investment property, let's say in Durham, and you're getting $2,000 for a house, and the rent is just not there, not very good return, sell it. There's no better time to sell it now because prices are going to rise, but we don't know. We can't predict the future, and in a couple of months, prices could come down. So while we're doing the micro market prediction right now, that the couple of weeks is still going to go up, it's very hard for us to predict what March, April, May is going to look like. So if you have an underperforming investment property, you should consider selling it now. Speak to a professional early so that you can start planning your sale with repairs and renovation. Now, these days, selling a home takes a lot more effort. You're going to have to fix up the house. You're going to have to renovate. Of course, you don't have to do anything. If you don't want to, you can just stick a sign and sell it. But in order to get the maximum price, you need to put lipsticks and mascara. You need to, dress it nicely so that buyers walk in and they feel like they can move in right away. That's what you're going for. And we have to organize staging and things like that. So if you plan on selling in February, you need to speak to somebody now to get your property ready, and you need to declutter today, not next week, not next month. You need to do it today. Even though it's snow and all that, but things are still happening, things are moving. There may be more properties on the market, which means you have more competition. So let's get your property ready today so we can put it up as soon as possible. And you need to have a strategy in place with your professional. Strategy meaning how you're going to go to the market, what price, what are you going to offer to the market, differentiate your listings, and things like that to make your property more attractive. If you're a buyer, you need to really know your financials. You need to know where you stand, how much you can afford, and you need to have contingency funds. Meaning that if your budget is, let's say, 1.5 million, and there's a property you love, you want it, and it's going to go for 1.6, have that 100K ready, whether it's friends, family, or you need to sell some stocks, or you need to liquidate something, some other assets. Maybe you own a nice watch, really nice watch, but hey, house is more important. Sell that watch now. The watch market or anything collectible market is crazy right now. Or you have that old classic car that you've kept, you've worked on, you really treasure, but now you need to move, sell that car. Something so that you have the extra funds ready so that if the right property comes along, you can strike. Be ready to make an offer today. You need to have the funds ready. You need to have the down payment ready. You need to have the deposit money ready so that if the right property pops up today, you can make a move. You need to act quick and you need to act fast. You can't be dilly-dally looking at this and that and calculating how much I need to put into a property. All of that doesn't matter if you don't have a house. So you need to be able to say, I will deal with those issues later. Those are just, if money can fix it, it's not a problem. Okay, there's unless the house is structurally has structural issues that it's going to fall apart. Everything else you can repair, replace with money. If you can get the house at the right price, the rest doesn't really matter. And know what you want and what you don't want. So what that means is you can't be looking at everything. You can't be say, well, I'm open to 3-bedroom condos or a townhouse or small detached or semi. If you work like that, you'll never be able to buy something because you'll be looking all over the place and you'll keep missing out on opportunities. Know what you want. You want a townhouse? You will focus on townhouse. Don't go looking at a condo because they're totally different product for different lifestyle. It's hard to cross shop unless you're an investor. And get into market ASAP right away. Like there's no waiting around. I still have clients that waited since 2020 and they still can't buy. So get into the market. If it's not exactly what you want, buy it still. And you can always move up later. Once you're in the market, your money is growing with the market, then it's easier to move. But if that detached home is out of reach right now, buy a townhouse, buy a semi. At least your money is parked in real estate and it's not just in a checking account that's depreciating every day. With inflation and everything, your buying power is just less and less every day. So that's my advice for buyers, and that also wraps up our Monday morning sort of market overview, giving you a little bit of knowledge going forward. And if you have any questions, any issues, feel free to contact me. My information is below in this video. My number is there, my email is there. Reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to have a private conversation with you to help you make the best decision. And just go back. So thank you again so much for watching. And I hope more and more people are going to start watching these and find them useful. I do my best to try to give you the info that, as concise as possible so that it doesn't take up too much time watching. Thanks again. It's Steven Sun at Homes by Sun with Remax. And I will see you next week. Take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye.